We got Robert Whittaker versus Ikram Aliskerov.
Well, it didn't take long, did it? Let me ask you this. When you were watching the fight and it started, what was your first thought process 30 seconds into the fight?
Why are you not right in his face and creating movement? Why'd you stop directly in front of him?
Thank you. Why are you standing directly there where it's like, what do you think this is going to be a good concept here? And it was like, you're a sitting target. And we had kind of seen that when he fought Phil Hawes a little bit, as far as he stood in front of Phil. Phil was lighting him up in some ways, but then he caught Phil and knocked him out and stuff. And it's like, okay, he's got power. But Bobby Knuckles is not someone you want to stand right in front of. You have got to be taking angles and creating him to have to move his feet. And when he doesn't have to move his feet and he can just bounce straight in and straight back, nope. That's his game all day long.
Like I was saying with Yag Shamirdov, like Robert Whittaker's crafty. He's super crafty with his stand up. He basically like squats his weight down to stuff the takedowns or make you think like, hey, I'm expecting you to shoot as soon as I start throwing. And so as he does that, he starts mixing up. He does a little up jab. He does a little up right hand. He changes up the movements of his feet. He'll switch stance and switch right back. He is crafty. And so as soon as I saw Ikram not like kind of walk him down, start putting pressure, and then moving his head side to side, go back and take a look at Khabib. Go back and take a look at Cain Velasquez when he fought Junior Dos Santos.
Always
moving the head and walking forward. So and dipping the legs a little bit, okay? Making a little bounce, making them think like, okay, are they going to box or are they going to wrestle? What are they going to do? What are they going to do? You've got to make them think that way, especially in the beginning of the fight. You've got to take their advantage away by crushing that space. I'm not saying that Robert Whittaker is not good in the phone booth, but if you know that Ikram wants to take you down, he's going to try to circle off and keep his back away from the fence. Ikram needed to put his back to the fence. He needed to make him fight off of his back foot, put his back foot against that little black bar on the bottom of the cage. Make him fight from there where he's uncomfortable and where he has to kind of square his back up to the fence, trying to circle out. That's when you can catch people. And if you can't catch him with a shot, then you can just drop down on the double legs, drop down on the single. Normally the double would switch to the single, then go back to the double, whatever it is. He stood right in front of him, John, and he got hit. Once he stopped moving, you were just basically a sitting duck.
Yeah.
So,
but like it all comes down to levels, and he's going to learn from it. He's going to learn, hey, the most important thing you can have in fighting is good footwork, because it'll get you into where you need to be. It'll get you out away from where you don't want to be, and it's so important. It's all part of the foundation of fighting. And when you just stand in one spot, you better have big time power that people are afraid to come in towards, because if you don't, man, you're sitting duck, like you said.
Well, if you go back and you take a look at the Chimaev fight against Kevin Holland, it was no secret that he was going to shoot. He shot from 10 feet away the very first takedown. It wasn't like this, like, hey, let me just stand a little bit. No. Let's not forget what we're here to do. We're here to win fights. And if my avenue to win the fight is to get the takedown, then what am I doing?
That's what you're going for. Hello.
I think there's so much pride that we got to stand up a little bit and fill him out. No. He's got to fill me out when my objective is to get you to the ground. I have to press him. I've got to make him feel uncomfortable right from the get.
It's as simple as this. Conor Watanabe fought Liz Carmouche the first time, got knocked out in 31 seconds. Conor Watanabe the second time dove from across the cage for takedowns because her way to win that fight was getting her on the ground. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Cain Velasquez going against Dos Santos, diving for takedowns on his hands and knees, scraping at ankles. You know why? Because that's what he needed to do to win.
Is anyone talking about is anyone talking about to this day how the first round went and how his first couple of takedowns came about? No, we're just talking about the beating he put on Junior Dos Santos after that. That's all we talk about now. How Junior was never the same after that. Ikram had a chance tonight.
But when he was in a stand-up battle with Junior the first time,
19 seconds.
64
Was it 64? Okay.
64.
Yeah, it wasn't long.
I mean,
it wasn't long. Yeah.
No, it wasn't long.
Yeah.
I know it was my chance to be on TV, and he fucking ruined it.
They said, nah,
Someone's gonna take that serious.
we don't want to see John's ugly mug up there for too long.
Fuck no,
Let's
get him out
of
of
here. It just was one of those situations we got to start. Not we. What am I saying? We, like, fighters, I think in general are like, hey, I got to stand, fill this out a little bit. No, you don't. You've got to make that fighter feel uncomfortable right from the get if that's your objective. If your objective is to fight him in a phone booth or fight him, in a wrestling match or in the clinch, you need to get there. Get there quickly. And if you have to take the Chimaev approach or the Cain Velasquez approach or whatever it is, you've got to take that approach and you got to do it quickly, because the sooner you get them settle in, they start feeling your movements and they start feeling your speed. That's when the problem happens. And once he stopped moving, he became just a sitting duck right in front of him, able to be hit. And that's exactly what happened. He was moving a little bit, kind of just move it like slightly. And then as soon as he stopped, Robert hit him. Bink. And it was over. He was wobbled. He was hurt. And it didn't take much. It didn't take much. But I will give Robert credit. I said this earlier. He stalked after him after he rocked him. He didn't come rushing in like Patricky Pitbull. He didn't try to flurry too much. He tried to hit him with some shots.
Didn't crush the space.
And then he gave himself space to hit the uppercut and the shot. It was beautifully done, man. Very nicely done. Yeah. You know, I was rooting for Ikram. I thought for sure that he would get it done if he got started with the wrestling and just kind of grinding Robert out a little bit, because I believe that if he grinded Robert out in the first 2 rounds, it would have taken the steam off of Robert Whittaker's punches. It would have made him a little bit more hesitant to throw the punches in the rounds 2, 3, 4, into 5. I mean, obviously things will change as the fight of the momentum goes, but momentum of the fight goes. But I felt like he had a good chance of winning that fight had he got started early with the wrestling.
Yep, I agree. But really good win for Whittaker. You know, you got to figure his opponent changed. That's not an easy thing. Handled it like the champ that he is. Very nice win.
Extremely difficult to do that.
Yeah. Alexander Volkov, who did not want to fight Sergey Pavlovich and basically created another conversation while they were doing the stare down. I love that. It's like, you're the one that said it's like, well, they got in there, and this is almost the same thing as you were just talking about before. Look, you got to know that, hey, you've sparred with this guy a bunch. You know what he's good at, and you know that he's longer than you. You know that, his way is movement, and you've got to cut that movement off, and you've got to go after him and crush the space, because when you crush the space on him, he's not as effective. What happened?
He couldn't crush the space. He couldn't even get in.
My God.
Sergey was target practice. He had no answer for what Volkov was doing. No answer. No. Whether it was the push kick up the middle, whether it was the thigh kick, whether it was
we talked about that push kick up the middle, and he's good with it, and he'll set you back on your heels with it, and it's something you're gonna have to deal with. But sweeping that leg away and going forward and throwing makes someone go, "Oh, I can't do that as often." Yeah. But if you don't do that, it's just a nice weapon I get to use whenever I decide to use it.
I mean, John, I gotta admit, I gotta eat some crow, man. I really thought that Pavlovich was gonna get it done. I thought he was gonna be able to.
So did I.
I thought he was gonna be able to.
No.
I thought he was gonna make him
Same
miss.
Here. I was wrong.
Pay.
I thought that he would just hunt Volkov down, march through, close the fucking space on him, and land big shots. And Volkov doesn't do well with, guys that land big, heavy shots on him. He starts to not be quite 6'7", 6'8", and he starts to get a little bit smaller and stuff, and things don't go well. Look at his fights with, he was doing well with, Derek Lewis, but put big shots on him. He's starting. Yeah. Anybody gets it by a big heavy weight, and Sergey can swat. Yeah.
Sergey can wrestle though too.
I was wrong.
There was no trying for a takedown.
What takedown attempt? I
didn't see one.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. I said he can wrestle too, but I didn't see any. I didn't see any trying to get to the body lock. I didn't see any trying to hit a double leg. I didn't see any foot sweeps. I didn't see anything. I was like, look, you're losing this fight. You got to figure out a different way.
So what when you look at it off of the Tom Aspinall loss, this is his second loss in a row. This is a guy that was riding high. He had confidence. He was freaking killing people. he was just marching every heavyweight down and just decimating them. We got a different guy.
They were
now.
talking about him fighting John Jones.
They were.
That's gone. That ship sailed.
They were. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Next fight.
Gone. Jeez.